Uh,
Demo option's not available anymore because it's not on because Steam Next Fest is done.
Probably.
maybe I'll check. Let me look it up again.
Do I want to
hello,
put all these
everybody.
stickers?
Oh yeah, it probably also makes sense because it releases in a little bit over a month.
Yeah,
So
that,
we're reading Session 8, Trial of the Tin Man?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, assuming that you haven't looked at the script yet, Vex, just because you have multiple roles doesn't mean most of them speak a lot. I mean, Glinda has one line.
Okay. You just like my terrible German impression.
Yes. Thank you for the resub, Skog.
hey, it's only a terrible German impression.
If we're not having a good time. Also,
Exactly.
I have now officially could say, I have birthed Skog as my first subscriber.
Why do you have to
my.
say it like that?
Yeah.
Because I know it causes most of the people in this call pain. For those who are unaware, Skog just reached a 9-month sub streak.
Nice. Mazel tov.
That was
Is
the
it a boy or
very
a girl?
well. Obviously, she's a girl.
I hope she ripped her way out of you like a xenomorph.
No, you know
That was
that
such
thing
a
where like you
vicious-
swallow a
I
watermelon
was
seed and
not
the watermelon
expecting
grows
from
in your
you
belly?
today.
It's like that.
Not like the xenomorph. I hope she burst out of you like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Whoa.
I'm getting like the vibes of like the whole like. I wish to be at your grave, knowing you could have done something to prevent that.
Yes.
Oh.
This. Yes.
Oh man, that fucking kills me.
Oh, we were at a wonderful start. I got a follow from that. Thank you, Fumble Rat.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
I assume you
Legend.
two recognized them.
That's great.
Oh, what a wonderful start that we're on. Oh, what a wonderful day. Today has been a day of flashbangs and desk slams. Oh, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee for this.
You know, while you're sipping on that coffee, I woke up this morning. I'm still full from all that sushi that I ate last night.
Oh, how was it?
It was really good sushi, but like by the end of it, like I only ordered as much as like I knew I would eat. But like my friends ordered way more, and like by the end of it, it's like because it's an all-you-can-eat place. So by the end of it, I could see that they were struggling, and I'm like, guys, why'd you order so much? And I struggled trying to help them, and I'm still full.
I see.
I'm still impressed by the fact that you woke up this morning. Good for you, man.
I'm surprised that I actually woke up as early as I did.
We're so proud. We're so proud
Hell
of
yeah.
our local Oscurus not having to have us wake him up 5 minutes before the stream starts.
Hey.
But
Literal wake up.
let's get on with the appropriate introductions. All right, Caleb, start us off.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Caleb Oscurus. I'm your resident Demon King. I'm the founder of the Royal Archives, and I'm very, very full from a lot of sushi.
Comic, follow him up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Evan Comic Guy, aka Comic, your resident lich here at the Endless Archives. I like to read webcomics on stream. I do a bit of voice acting for the characters, and I play video games, often badly. So please, if you need to, just chill, relax. I hope you have a good day.
And then we have our local Neon Honeybee.
Hello, my name is Neon Honeybee. I am a voice actor, artist, writer. I am a tea witch of the broom wheat variety, and I have my own apothecary that doubles as a reading cafe.
And then we have just Skog.
Hi, I'm just Skog. I am not full of sushi right now, but I am full of tater tots.
Nice.
Tater tot.
Skog isn't a VTuber. She's just Skog. She just likes
Skog is
being
Skog.
here.
Yeah.
She likes having fun, and therefore we have fun. And then we have Vex.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Hello.
It's like that one scene from Wreck-It Ralph. Skug is Skug.
Hello everyone, my name is Vexencat. I am a Tiger Librarian VTuber. I read classic literature and poetry and occasionally play games. And I'm part of a independent VTubing group called Underrealm Gen 2. And I am here to read for a couple of different parts because Bragi likes to make me work.
Not as much as comic, honestly.
Fair. He's better at it.
I mean, I
You
also
do a
want to
great job,
mention...
though.
Yeah, you do a great
Very
job,
much
but also I
so.
want to mention to everyone in the chat that now we could officially say that she also does karaoke.
Ooh,
Ooh.
kinda
One
Yeah.
time does not a karaoke streamer make.
I mean, we could still
It
say
was
you
for
did
charity.
it. Indeed,
Jeez.
it
You can do it a
was.
bit more often. You have a really nice voice.
It
Thank
was.
you.
Singing is fun.
It is.
It is.
I second that motion.
Yeah, some of you guys missed it last time. I did some singing. It was terrible, but I
yeah.
did some singing.
I think I just blocked that out from my memory.
I need to get some of the songs I'm writing made.
I have like 7 songs that I've written for character Andrew Blue. I still needs to commission someone to actually draw him for these streams. Because I technically don't actually have a properly done design for him. I have a silhouette that I had Sully draw up, but I've not had like an actual official proper art of him. Yeah, to get on, since I have mentioned Andrew, all of us have been gathered here today at my whimsical nature in order to continue reading through a rewrite of the show RWBY that I have been making. We are about to start the 8th chapter of the story. We've already read through the other ones on stream. And while the VODs have taken too long and have already gone down, there is always my YouTube that you guys can get access to. And thanks to Vex, I actually have a YouTube command through a particular app, and it broke. Awesome. Why did it break? Because I had the thing open and I did not turn it on. Awesome.
Hey.
Skill issue.
Yes. But that is the link to my YouTube. That will take you to a playlist where all of the previous episodes of us doing voice acting and shitting around and just generally having fun while still reading through the script are all present. So if you want to get a good feel for the story and properly sit through it, that is always an option before you get into this one. But as it stands, hi Syphils.
I returned.
Sybil.
Hi, Sybil's.
And now we have Syphils. She's just gonna be here. Yeah, now we are going to begin the script, and for those of you who are paying close attention, you're just gonna have some fun times with some of the voice actors that are gonna be here with the insane amount of ridiculous efforts 2 of our voice actors are going to put in, where their voices will definitely be heard all throughout the story. Totally. Alright, let us begin. As always, I am the narrator, whereas all the voice actors are the actual characters that will be played. So sit back, enjoy, and relax as we begin the tale of today. Chapter 8, Trial of the Tin Man. I woke to the sound of knocking on the door. A groan threatened to slip out of my throat, but I kept it in, hoping I could pretend to still be asleep. My bed was more comfortable than usual, which I easily attributed to the fact that my arms were around someone. They were small and felt feminine. At least, I could feel the dips and curves in the places I'd associate with female body underneath thick fabric. After thinking on it for a moment, I realized it must have been Neo. I could feel that I was also clothed, which made sense. My new sleep mask was on my face, though I didn't remember how it got there. There was a sound of someone shuffling across the floor, and the door swung open.
Is this the dorm for fame?
Oh, that was Isabel's voice.
Who's asking?
Emerald asked, sounding drowsy. She must have been the one to answer the door.
Isabel Evans of Violet. Looking for Andrew Blackerblue?
Emerald groaned in response.
Andrew, you jackass. I know you're awake.
Damn it.
What the hell did you do last night?
Sadly, not me.
Isabel groused. There was a surprised squeak, and I didn't have to lift my mask to know Emerald was the one to make that noise.
Hey, tell me that wasn't the last time you're gonna hang out at Junior's. I'm gonna earn that private show.
I didn't bother to move. Definitely gonna show up every weekend I can. I might pop in occasionally throughout the week, but that'll just be to meet up with someone. Neo shifted in her sleep, snuggling into my chest.
Will you be there tonight?
She asked hopefully. Unless something comes up.
Great. Can I get your scroll number?
Blindly, I moved my arm to fumble around my pockets. I found it in the back pocket of my pants, so I pulled it out, guessed appropriately, and threw it at where I hoped Isabel and Emerald were. Someone caught it, and a few seconds later I heard a gentle ping.
Thanks. I'll see you at Junior's.
The door was shut after that, and Emerald plodded in my direction. There was a careless clatter as what I figured was my scroll was dropped onto the nightstand between mine and Emerald's beds. Thanks, I grunted, before adjusting myself slightly, intense to continue sleeping. I wasn't hungover, magic prevented that, but the bed was very comfortable and I was going to take advantage of not needing to get up for class.
Andrew, who is that in bed with you?
Cinder's voice asked, just to the left of where the door was. She was probably sitting at her desk. Someone I met at Junior's. Her name's Neo, hummed from me. For a few seconds, everyone was quiet, so I assumed that was it.
Her name is Neo?
My partner voiced slowly.
What would her last name happen to be?
Politan, I think. Like the ice cream. A few more moments passed before Mercury sputtered into laughter from my left.
No fucking way.
He cackled.
Neapolitan.
Cinder breathed, sounding in shock.
You got Neapolitan in your bed?
Emerald jealously cried. Neo squirmed at the spontaneous noise, trying to wiggle deeper in my holds to escape it. We're clothed, you thirsty bitch! I half-heartedly growled. Figuring I was unlikely to be given the opportunity to fall back asleep, I lifted one hand to slide my mask up onto my forehead. Once it was firmly at the top of my head, I returned my arm to where it had been around Neo, who sighed contently. Thankfully, I had lifted my mask in time to watch Emerald stutter and blush at the accusation. What's the big deal about knowing Neo anyway?
If you got her into bed with you, you must know who her partner is.
Cinder pointed out, as I correctly guessed, sitting at her desk. We were at Junior's and Roman was enjoying a drink at the bar like a normal person. Wasn't gonna disrespect house rules and try to take him in.
And so, rather than avoiding a known criminal who is currently acting the part of your average law-abiding citizen, you get his partner to get into bed with you.
I won't deny that I matched her energy, but she was the one that came up to me. With my mask off, I was able to witness Cinder and Emerald's faces turn to shock. She waved hi first, and when I was up on stage, she was the first to join me up there as a dancer. We really started getting along when she found out I know sign language.
Join you on stage.
Mercury asked dumbly.
Actually, what the hell did you do last night?
A weary sigh left me. While I was on the Bullhead heading to Vale, I asked a fourth-year team, Violet, for places to have fun. They took me to Junior's. When we stepped inside, I realized that the music was shit, so I talked up Roman, got his help to convince Junior to let me swap with his DJ for a song, and showed that bastard up so well that Junior let me stay up there for the rest of the night. From there, I had like a dozen beers ordered for me, got hit on by almost everyone who I pulled on stage, and ended the night having a chat with Junior, giving me blanket permission to go up on stage whenever I feel like it.
He gave you blanket permission.
The gray-haired teen gawked. Well, yeah, I know how to hype up a fucking crowd, and I told him I was happy to do it for free. Dude practically jumped at it.
And how did that result in Neo sharing a bed with you?
Cinder pushed. I thought for a moment to remember what happened. Once she found out I know sign language, she stuck with me the rest of the night. Couldn't tell if Roman was jealous or relieved. We fed into each other pretty well, and once Junior closed the doors for the night, she hopped onto my back and stayed there until we reached the dorms. I didn't mind it, so I just told her that we didn't have a spare bed. As you can clearly see, there wasn't an issue with that.
Clearly.
Shifting off topic for a moment.
Emerald meekly lifted a hand before continuing.
You have a few missed messages from Headmaster Osmond and Professor Goodwitch.
My face twisted in confusion, and I grabbed my scroll. Opening it up, I saw that her words were true, a single call and text from Ozpin and Witch each. Ozpin's ordered me to come up to his office as soon as I could, while Glinda's text more politely asked me to arrive at my earliest convenience. According to the timestamps, they were from an hour ago. Shit. I bit out. Isn't this thing supposed to ring?
From what we heard earlier, you have it set to vibrate.
Cinder stated, having turned in her seats to face her desk. I sent a glare at her. And you let me sleep through it?
It's of no importance to me whether you answer calls or not.
She responded without looking back. Motherfucker. I hissed as I lightly tossed the scroll back onto the nightstand. I reached down to pat Neo's back gently. Hey, I'm gonna have to get up. Don't want to find out what shit I get into if I ignored this. Her method of complaining against my leaving was to wrap her arms tighter around my abdomen. Sighing, I thanked the fact that dressing wouldn't be an issue since I was likely to need to call in my armor today. Flipping the blanket off of us, I saw the ice cream-themed girl instantly shivered at the rush of cold. I rolled over so that she was under me, with my arms in the bed preventing her from being squished under me. Looking down, I saw that her head pulled away from my chest so that her heterochromatic eyes were drowsily peering up at me. Sending an apologetic smile her way, I shuffled to the side, stepping off the bed and standing straight. Due to her grip and her massive height difference between us, she was dangling, her feet not touching the ground. Alright, off you go. I tucked my hands under her armpits and forcefully pulled her away from me, holding her out like she was a cat. Her pout promised violence. What do you want as your hangover cure? I asked blandly. She pointed at me with her right hand. I'll hang out with you when I get back. What do you want me to get you now? Her pout deepened, then a moment later she set her hand in a circle and mimed licking something. What flavor? She brought up both arms, held up the first and second fingers of her right hand in a V shape, then braced that hand over her left and rotated it in a circle. Before I could comment, she changed her right hand into a C shape and rotated it once more. Following that, she lowered her left hand, circled her right thumb and first finger with the other fingers splayed out, and tapped it against her lips before pulling it away. I raised an eyebrow. Really? She lifted her own challenging eyebrow. Fine. Neapolitan ice cream it is. I gently lowered her down onto the bed on her back, and when she maintained her firm pout, I grabbed the edge of the blanket and pulled it up to her shoulders. Instantly, her pout flashed into a smile. A chuckle left me as I turned away, sliding my scroll into one of my front pockets as I pulled the door open. See y'all in a bit. None of my teammates verbalized any goodbyes, so I shut the door behind me and went in the direction of the cafeteria. After a moment of thinking about it, I took my scroll back out and texted Witch, informing her that I was going to grab something from the cafeteria for a friend, and then I was going to head to Osmond's office. Just as I was about to slip it back into my pocket, I got a response. Checking it out, I read that, on behalf of Ozpin, she wanted to know why I was so late in acknowledging their messages. My eyes rolled as I stepped into the cafeteria, heading for the kitchen. I slept in. This was time sensitive, you wouldn't have waited an hour for me to respond, so tell him to get off my ass. Since my hands were occupied, I towed open the kitchen door and stepped inside, startling all the chefs working. Sup? I greeted as I walked towards the room labeled freezer. Reaching out with my left hand, I pulled it open and stepped inside, taking a moment to shiver at the burst of cold. Glancing at the labels, I stopped in front of the wall of boxed ice cream. Neapolitan was at the bottom of a tall stack, so I slid my scroll back in my pocket, ignoring the buzzing of a response. Grabbing the edge of the box above it, I lifted the stack, grabbed the box of ice cream with my other hand, and pulled it free, letting the stack drop. Once it stopped swaying, I nodded to myself and left the room, a box of dessert in hand. Nodding acknowledgement to the chefs who were all still in shock, I left the kitchen and went back to the dorms as I checked the message, seeing it was from Osmond.
There's no need for snark, Mr. Blackablue. I was merely curious about the delay, not demanded to keep track of your whereabouts.
My eyes rolled at the excuse, but I didn't bother texting back as I re-entered the dorm. No one had really moved since I left, the only significant change being Emerald adjusting herself as she was lying on her bed. Nia was happily still underneath the blanket, and her pink and brown eyes locked into the box in my hands as I stepped up to her. The cardboard box is taped shut, which I fixed by just grabbing one corner and tearing it open, revealing 4 cartons of the dessert. Shrugging, I set it down on the nightstand and patted the girl on the head. Return whatever you don't finish at the kitchen, okay? She nodded vigorously, pulling a light laugh out of me. Turning away, I went to the door. See y'all whenever the hell Ozzy is done with me. I informed as I stepped out, and this time hearing a couple murmured "see yas." Shutting the door behind me, I glanced around the hallway, seeing that I was alone. A mischievous smirk curling across my face, my tattoos lit up. A beat of magic brought me inside of Ozpin's office, and apparently overlapping someone. There was a startled shout, and the person who was in the space I teleported into was forced forward, flailing in a desperate attempt to regain their balance before ultimately failing. I blinked and looked down, seeing it was Crow, who I caused to fall over, who let out a growl as he reached for his flask, which had fallen from his grip and was spilling over the floor.
Oh, come on.
He whined, shimming up to the item and correcting it so that it stopped spilling.
That was expensive.
Did you intend to do that, Mr. Black or Blue?
Glinda inquisitively asked, standing at Osmond's right shoulder. The headmaster was sitting at his desk, hiding an amused smirk by sipping at his mug. Well, on the desk, there was a hologram to Osmond's left that displayed Ironwood, whose features lightened slightly as he looked at Crow's downed form. I meant to teleport, I shrugged, but him standing where I left was just bad luck. For some reason, that caused Ozpin, Ironwood, and Glinda to deepen their smirks, the blonde even hiding her amusement behind one hand. At the same time, the drunkard on the floor paused, then slammed his forehead into the floor.
Fuck!
He screamed. My brow furrowed, and I glanced between the people in front of me before shaking my head. Ignoring whatever that was, why the hell did you call me here today? This another test for my magic or something like that?
It is indeed.
Ozpin confirmed.
We discussed it thoroughly, and in order to get the best understanding of your abilities, we've decided your next mission will be a search and rescue mission in Atlas.
He gestured towards Ironwood, who took that as his cue to take the reins.
There was a small unit of 5 who lost contact while inspecting an abandoned military bunker in the tundra. Your mission is to teleport here, partner up with a trusted officer of mine, and go with him to search for that unit. Your only restriction is, for the duration of the mission, to not teleport. Your decimation of the Light Fang was a sufficient demonstration of how effectively you can use your teleportation. Additionally, the act of teleporting to Atlas will be sufficient proof of the distance your teleportation can cover. What we lack the most understanding of is your effective speed, or how fast you're able to move, rather than how much distance you can cover in a short amount of time.
Alright, what do you want us to do with the soldiers when we find them?
Well, if they're alive, stay with them until their mission is complete before bringing them back. If they are dead, bring the bodies back so we may bury them.
Sounds good. When do we start?
When you get here.
Ironwood grunted. A smirk rose onto my face, and I saw his eyes widen as my tattoos glowed. Transport magic. Telescopic. I cast, a moment before I appeared standing just behind Ironwood. I was facing away from him, unfortunately, due to how the spell worked, but the job was still done appropriately. Him jumping out of his seat to face me was audible enough that I took a moment to admire the snow-covered mountains his office had a view of, then turned back. He was taller than I was expecting him to be, and broad with a muscled build. Even under the thick layers of military clothing he wore, his bulk was obvious.
If you had let me finish,
He huffed, a disapproving look on his face.
I would have shown you that I had a spot in my office for you to use as a drop point, exact coordinates, a certainty that the space would be clear, even a marked area surrounding that, so you could bring something with you safely if you felt like it.
Raising an eyebrow in interest, I leaned to the side, peering past his desk and the call still visible on it, and seeing that there was indeed a space in the far right corner of his office that was marked with a circle of caution tape on the floor. It was about 5 feet in diameter, enough that I could comfortably bring a couple people with me if I ever decided to use it. Cool, I drawled. Useful for next time.
I trust James is more than capable of handling things from here, so we shall take our leave.
Ozpin announced, bowing his head slightly. Ironwood nodded back in response, leaning forward to press a holographic button that ended the call while I mock saluted to them before it cut out. The general straightened as he faced me, then held out his right hand. My eyebrows raised a fraction before I shook the offered hand.
It is a pleasure to meet you in person, Black or Blue. Or would you rather I refer to you by another name?
He asked. Andrew works fine for me. Not one for titles, even if I have a few. I encouraged. We finished the handshake and he gestured for me to walk with him as he began stepping around his desk.
May I ask to know them?
He inquired politely. Not many of them are going to have any meaning to you, but sure. I shrugged as we left his office, turning left and going down the pristine white hallway. Student of the Black Knights, Captain of the Royal Guard, Jonathan Grand's chosen, and my personal favorite, Crescendo. The general gave a thoughtful hum.
I will be blunt. Allspin informed Crow and I that you come from another world. The explanation was necessary considering how wildly different your magic is to what is hidden in this world. Would you mind if I asked to know about where you come from?
As I looked up at the man I was walking beside, a smile grew on my face. Not at all. Just let me know when. I'm sorry, I just looked at the chat and saw Skog was like accidentally fat-fingered tomboy pussy.
Ah, nice.
A smaller smile grew on his face to mirror mine.
Thank you. I am grateful. Since you have the rescue mission before you, I'll ask to exchange scroll numbers so that we may coordinate this at a later time.
I happily slipped my scroll from my pocket and held it out to the man, who gently took it from my hold and typed his contact into it before returning the device. We reached the end of the hallway and went through a door, which led to a much larger room than Ironwood's office. It seemed like a common area, with couches surrounding several coffee tables, a bar at one side, and higher standing tables around the edges with taller chairs at them. At one of the higher standing tables, a woman sat, the only person in the room. There was a ceramic teapot in front of her, with a single cup of tea that she was sipping when we entered. As soon as the sound of the door opening reached her, she set it down and got out of her seat, standing perfectly at attention facing us.
General Ironwood, I presume this is who I am to be supervising for the search and rescue mission?
Her voice was elegant and controlled, somehow both exuding the aura of a refined queen and a disciplined soldier.
You would be correct, Specialist Schnee. This is Andrew Blackerblue, an ally of Allspin, and as I've been informed, someone who carries the title of Captain of the Royal Guard. Andrew, this is Specialist Winter Schnee of Atlas, one of my most trusted subordinates, and someone I have trusted my life to.
The name was thoroughly unsurprising, as the woman was just a few inches shorter than me and looked like older Weiss. She had the same pale skin and white hair as Weiss, though Winter's hair was much shorter, tied back in a bun at the back of her head, with bangs going down the right side of her face. Her eyes were also blue, though notably darker shade than Weiss's were. She wore a white long-sleeved coat whose sleeves were split from the outside of the shoulder to the elbow and was kept shut by a blue clasp around her waist. Under that, I could see what was obviously a sleeveless white blouse under a dark blue waistcoat. To keep with the theme, she wore white trousers with dark blue garters over and gray thigh-high boots. Completing her outfit were a pair of black forearm-length gloves. I took particular notice of the fact that at her hip was a silver sword, almost like a rapier with a single-edged and slightly curved blade. Considering the weapons of everyone except Witch, John, and Weiss, it was a surprise to me that I didn't see any obvious ranged option. "So, you're my babysitter today," I acknowledged, holding out my right hand since Ironwood had shook my hand earlier. "Just call me Andrew. I like to be a bit more relaxed." Blue eyes focused on me, looked down at my hand, returns to my face. She then took a step forward to gingerly slip her right hand into mine, shake once, and then shift back to stand at attention.
I would prefer that for the duration of this mission, you refer to me as Specialist Schnee or ma'am.
I blinked blankly. That really fucked with my tongue a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna call you Winter. Do you have any connection with Weiss Schnee, by the way? I saw the smallest twitch of her left eye, but it was a difficult to catch thing.
Weiss Schnee is my younger sister. May I ask what is your connection to her?
We're both first years at Beacon. Different times, but I can't word today. Different teams, but I think...
Speak, white boy, speak.
Different teams, but I think that's a good thing. We'd be at each other's throats otherwise.
I see.
Her words were tightly controlled, and I couldn't figure out what she felt about my words.
Whoops. Forgive Winter, Andrew. We are just more accustomed to adhering to rank here in Atlas.
Ironwood stepped up so that he was almost between us.
I'm sure we would all like to get on with the mission, especially since my men's lives are at stake. Let's go over a mission briefing now that the both of you are here, and then I'll send you off. Schnee?
At his call, the woman stood even straighter, tightening her stance.
Sir, Black RWBY and I are to perform a search and rescue mission for 5 operatives who went MIA investigating an abandoned bunker southwest of here. Black RWBY is to take point for the mission while I am to supervise his performance. Why is it going so French? I don't know. Anyway, unless this situation calls for it, I am not to intervene or provide any assistance to Black RWBY. Only observe his actions. If possible, we are to find the 5 operatives and return them home, dead or alive. If they are alive and have not completed their mission, we are to allow them to complete it before returning.
I think it adds more comedy if Winter is for some reason French, because it just makes it have even less sense for why the 2 sisters would have completely different accents besides being raised in the same home.
They went to different boarding schools, maybe.
I mean, Winter went to a military school, but...
Winter was raised abroad.
Sounds clear enough, I nodded.
And the additional orders given to you for Andrew's sake?
Ironwood gestured for her to continue.
This mission and what I witness, while part of it will be treated as top secret level confidentiality. Andrew Black RWBY will be given separate orders from myself, and thusly will be operating with different conditions. I am not to question anything I witness in regards to Black RWBY's abilities to any party, and to allow him absolute control over how the mission is conducted, even if I may have disagreements. After the mission is completed, I will give only a verbal report of what abilities I witnessed directly to General Ironwood, and leave no documentation that this mission has ever occurred.
After she finished reciting her orders, the general turns to me, a comforting smile on his face.
As you just heard, I have taken measures to ensure that the chance of your abilities being discovered is as minimized as possible. No documentation to find, no files that could be hacked into, even your partner isn't going to be aware of the full extent of your capabilities.
He announced like it was a comfort. To the side, Winter displayed no discomfort at Ironwood directly saying that she was being left in the dark.
You can comfortably undergo this mission without concerns.
I blinked with a slight bit of awkwardness. Thanks? Wasn't really my choice to keep it secret, but appreciate the effort. In return, not only did Ironwood pause to stare at me in surprise, but even Winter's mask broke for a moment to do the same. Choosing to answer the unspoken question, I continued. Ozpin's the one that wanted me to keep it under wraps.
You disagree?
The general asked. I glow, I reminded, allowing my magic to flash across my tattoos for emphasis. And the cover Ozzy has me working under restricts me to my supplementary spells. I never liked being under lock and key. The man frowned.
I'd be happy to help you understand why Olspen made the decision he did later. Right now, I like to see more of my men return home, alive if possible.
Sighing, I nodded, my magic lighting up my arms a few moments before my armor appeared over my clothes. Wow, I can hear that in my voice. My mask already up. It wasn't hard to spot the shock appear on Winter's face, though she quickly fixed her features back into a professional mask. Wrong time, I get it, breathed out from me as I turned around and crouched, holding my arms out behind me. Winter, get on my back and we'll head out. There was a dead silence for a long moment.
Sir?
Winter's voice demanded for the man to clarify what was going on.
It may be unorthodox, but I am aware of and agree with the reasons for why Andrew is asking you to get on his back. This may sound odd, but him carrying you will go a long way to ensuring the success of the mission.
Understood, sir.
As soon as she said those words, I felt her stiffly settle onto my back, her hands resting on my shoulders and her thighs squeezing my sides. I brought my hands to her thighs to keep her secure while I stood up, her weight barely noticeable. Which way are we going? I asked, her right hand lifted from my shoulder for a moment.
The door to our right will take you out of this building. From there, turning left should put you in the direction of the bunker.
Ironwood announced. Winter's confusion was evident.
Are we not going to use a vehicle for transportation?
She asked. I hunched forward and let my magic flow through me. I'm the transportation, I revealed before darting forward, crossing the distance from the corner of the room we were in to the designated door in just 3 steps. It slid open quickly, but slow enough compared to me that I still had to pause for a second. Her right hand snapped down to return to gripping my shoulder as I left the doorway and turned. Leaving the building revealed a pristine white platform with a wonderful skyline view and tall buildings of Atlas on the horizon. I ignored all of it as I shot to the left, quickly reaching my full natural speed. We blurred past grass, dozens of people, and several small buildings as I continued on my path, my eyes focused on the mountains in the distance. The city of Atlas famously was a flying city, kept afloat through their advanced technology, which didn't really make any sense when the history books claimed it had been in the air before they knew how to work with metal. My running theory was that Ozpin did it with his magic, even if I couldn't figure out why he would waste his energy on something like that.
Your speed may be impressive.
Winter spoke in my ear, tightly restrained judgment at the edges of her tone.
But it will take days to reach the mission destination at this pace.
The edge of the flying city was coming at us very quickly, my top natural speed somewhere at over 100 miles an hour. Good thing we're not staying at this pace then, huh? I asked. How's the weather in this country? Is it windy?
Snowstorms are a frequent occurrence, especially here in Atlas. High winds are commonplace. Is now truly the time to be asking such mundane questions?
Perfect. I wasn't asking for the sake of small talk. Just as I felt the winds blast across me, my magic gleefully rose up at the call. Summoner magic. Boots of Hermes. A pair of bronze greaves appeared over my forelegs, glowing white wings etched onto the sides. My speed immediately multiplied, slingshotting us forward so powerfully that Winter's hands tightened on my shoulders and I felt her body lurch back from the unexpected speed.
The edge!
She warned through grit teeth. The older Schnee was cut off by me jumping off of the aforementioned ledge, and my feet finding footholds in the wind. Her breath audibly hitched as we maintained our level. Thanks to the divine greaves I was wearing, we were tearing across the sky at well over 1,000 miles an hour, the wind acting as our road. Better get a tighter grip, I shouted, a smile in my voice in anticipation over the reaction Winter bounds to have. There was no hesitation from her this time, the woman pressing herself against my back and moving her hands so that her arms now wove around my neck. Transport magic, acceleration, railgun, overclock. We broke the sound barrier, despite the fact that math states we should have done so already, evidenced by a powerful, deafening boom. Normally, I'd have concerns about my passenger, but my research into aura had made me confident that Winter would be able to withstand the wind pressure. That her arms remained securely around my neck proved that. We propelled across the skies of Atlas at thousands of miles an hour, the landscape passing by us so quickly I could only barely make out towns and villages dotted amongst the snow before they were out of view. Gonna need your directions, navigator, I reminded. There was a shift, and Winter's right arm slipped away from my neck. Her body moved while on my back, and I felt something press against the top of my spine.
Veer towards your 2 o'clock.
He shouted to be heard over the wind. How long? I asked while shifting accordingly.
It's difficult to calculate with your
Give me a distance.
less than 300 miles.
Easy. Computers made a big deal out of performing math. My sheer amount of experience with movement meant comparing how far I needed to go with how fast I was moving was instinctive. It would take a bit over half a minute, not quite 3/4. I waited until we were at the right mark, then allowed my magic to flow once more. Transport magic. Deviation. Spell was a transport spell or teleportation spell of such a short distance it basically didn't count, but for one very important purpose, to instantaneously change directions without losing speed. I deviated us so that we were moving directly upwards, as I stopped running forward and let more momentum carry us. Gravity and air resistance did all the work of slowing us down. Once we had lost all of our speed, I twisted to face the snow below us. Transport magic. Horizon. The second spell was a teleport meant for movement, and as soon as it activated, I was kneeling on the snow. Standing straight, I glanced over my shoulder to Winter. All right, where to? She moved her hand up, showing that her scroll was in her hand with a map displayed.
Approximately 3 miles directly that way.
She lifted the elbow of her right hand to rest on my shoulder as she pointed with her left hand between my 10 and 11 o'clock. I followed the direction her finger pointed with my eyes, and tilted my head so that my ear was pressed against her bicep to ensure that I was as lined up as possible, then allowed another pulse of magic to carry us the distance she stated. We appeared in snow-covered fields, the mountains around us, and no clear indicators that we were anywhere but in a random field. After we both spent a moment looking around, Winter moved her right leg down, which made me automatically let go and let her step onto the snow. Her left leg followed, then she steps around me, pocketing her scroll as she strutted forth with a certain look on her face. We're here? I asked as I followed her, walking even with her.
BR. Those familiar with the Secret Atlas military bunkers know what to look for to find them.
She stated as she stepped up to a seemingly random waist-high hill of snow.
Specialist Schnee, requesting access.
My eyes widened as the hill split in half down the middle, small chunks of snow falling as the two halves of the hill slid outward, revealing a bunker door embedded in the ground. I didn't see any handles to open it with, and Winter stood expectantly with her hands folded behind her back. We stood there for a couple seconds, and I looked over to Weiss's oldest sister. Is it supposed to open on its own?
It is. This facility has been abandoned for a while. However, the computers might be slow due to lacking upgrades.
She justified. However, while she said that, she kneeled down while taking out her scroll. Leaving her to it, I took a step back and took up my scroll. Thankfully, I saw that my cell signal was strong. Hey, Bowler Hat, you ready for the first question? I texted.
Lucky for you, you caught me at a time that I wasn't busy with something else. I've got a couple of hours. What do you got for me?
He responded quickly. What's the need to know about the Schnee? While sending the message, I spared a glance at the white-haired woman with me, who was preoccupied with a holographic number pad coming out from the door. And I'm not asking about their dirty laundry, I'm asking about actual basic shit.
Do you even know what punctuation is, kid? Has our school system fallen so hard that the current generation doesn't even know how to structure a sentence?
No, but that's not relevant
Was
right
Roman possessed by the spirit of Vex here?
now. You know what? We're gonna say yes. I don't know how to override a scroll, you jackass.
Got a little British there. How?
I got this thing a week ago and I've never had one before. How the fuck do you think?
Remind me the next time we meet to show you how to text. As for your question, how basic are you asking about? You want to know much about this? You want to know how much their stocks are priced at?
Why are they such a big deal? I sent in one message, then typed out a second once, and I didn't know how to put a period. Weiss isn't Beacon talking all that about knowing dust, and I just found out her older sister is a specialist in the Atlas military. Then, in the third message, I sent the last part of my question. People have mentioned the Schnee Dust Company a few times, but I don't know why they've got such a big name.
Kid, you're gonna make me, of all people, feel bad about taking your money if your questions are all like this.
He responded first.
But, sure, give me a bit to make sure my facts are right, and then I'll give you what you're asking for. Screw it! Something like this, all I'll ask for is 5 lien.
Thanks, I'll give you the money when I see you.
Another thing, I'm gonna teach you how to use a money transfer app. My god, this feels more exploitative than an actual robbery.
I snorted and looked up, seeing Winter still struggling with the door. Slipping my scroll back in my pocket, I stepped up to her. What's wrong with the door? Crystal blue eyes darted to me, then back to the pad. Did I make the highlight too dark? Is it hard to make out the words?
It is a little bit. I'm old, remember? Something seems to have disconnected the door from the mainframe. General Unwood has provided me both the password for the door and an emergency override command. That neither is working leads me to believe that the codes aren't reaching the computer the door is connected to.
Don't mind me, I'm just helping Vex a little bit. But the thing
Did you try
covering...
turning it off and back on again?
I don't think we can turn Vex off and then on again.
I mean, if you play your cards right.
Wink, wink.
I don't think I'd
my.
want to turn Vex off, honestly.
Oh.
But the thing covering the
There.
door responded to your command?
The camouflage shield will react when Atlas military hardware is in the vicinity, and activates when it recognizes spoken language. Its system is simple and independent, whereas the bunker door itself is connected to the main computer of the facility.
So it's not going to open on its own. I drawled. Winter slowly turned to me, her features narrowing.
I hope you have no intentions to destroy the door to get inside.
As much as I normally would, I don't want to find out what your security system would do if I did, I announced as I shuffled closer to her and wrapped an arm around her waist before lifting her off the ground. She immediately stiffened.
What are you?
Time magic. Spectre. breathed out from me, the spell enveloping us both. As soon as it took into effect, I swung my foot forward, the limb passing straight through the material of the door. Considering the door was horizontal in the ground, I was expecting there to be stairs, and was proven right. Winter struggles in my grip, not in attempts to escape my holds, but rather twisting and turning to understand what was happening as we passed through the door, as though it wasn't even there. Once I stepped completely through a door, I was able to see that most of the lights were off, with only some overhead fixtures flickering to provide any light. The light I produced countered the darkness, but it still made me frown, since even I knew that wasn't normal.
Oh,
As soon as Winter started asking how, she shut her mouth. It took a moment to remember that she had been ordered to not ask about my abilities, and I rolled my eyes. Such a dumb order, especially since she was supposed to be the one to provide a report about my abilities to Ironwood and Ozpin. Once we were at the bottom of the short flight of stairs, I set her on her feet, the woman quickly standing straight and fixing her clothes, turning away from me slightly. Spectre, I began, is a spell that distorts either the time of myself or my environment. I can make it so that I exist in a different time than my environment, making me seamlessly intangible, or I can make it so that the environment is set to a time where it would not impede me. For example, I jabbed a thumb of the door above and behind us. I can make it so that the time of a door is set to whenever it is open, and walk through as though it is. The specialist frowned at me.
you should not be informing me of your abilities. It goes against orders.
He reminded. I'm making sure she could see it this time. I rolled my eyes again. Once I caught her eye twitch, I started walking forward down the hallway in front of us. It was difficult to tell what the color the walls were because of my eyes casting a green glow, but I assumed it was all white. I never wanted to hide my powers. We already went over that.
Be that as it may, it doesn't change the fact that we are under orders to hide your powers.
You want to stick to your orders so bad, you were only ordered to not ask about my powers. Nothing about what to do if I talk about them.
You willfully divulging your abilities. You willfully divulging your abilities to me, knowing I am under orders to not understand them, violates the intent of the orders, which are to make sure as few people know as possible.
We stopped at the end of the hallway, where it split horizontally left and right. The right hallway was completely dark, all the lights broken, but sporadic sparks came from far down the left. Both of us had our gazes locked onto the sparks. Tell me that the reason this facility was abandoned was because of electrical issues, I muttered.
Oh, I got ahead from the... Now I'm lost.
No.
Which page are we on? I was highlighting things and then I got lost in the song.
Page 20.
No.
Winter answered gravely. And there goes my wishful thinking. We turned towards the left hallway and began striding towards the sparks, me on the left and Winter on the right. I held out my left hand and summoned a flaming sword, its light illuminating the hallway. When we reached the sparks, we saw that it was a control panel for a mechanical door which had been torn into. The door was struck open, and most importantly, there was a body lying unmoving in the doorway. I held the blade up to help as Winter kneeled down by the face-down body, which was a man wearing a white and gray military uniform with combat boots and a white helmet. Underneath him was a wide puddle of blood. The specialist carefully grabbed one of his shoulders to turn him over, which exposed the deep claw marks that ripped across his torso. There were 5 strokes in total, going from his left shoulder to his right hip. On the right side of his chest, what I assumed was his name tag read Cerise. He's one of the 5, I assume, I asked somberly. The white-haired woman nodded.
We're retrieving agents Carmine, Cambridge, Celadon, Chartreuse, and Cerise.
I'm so happy you knew how to pronounce all those words, Scott. Thanks.
Oh.
Mostly because I know at least several people IRL that would not have known how to pronounce those properly.
I mean, half of them were colors.
My God, you actually recognized that. Caleb didn't.
Shut up.
Caleb thought that I was listing
Shut up.
colleges.
It just went over my fucking head. I legitimately thought this was a fucking Gears of War reference. That's what I thought.
What's Gears of War? Is that a game?
Yeah, it's a game. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, so see, now I'm very curious. Is Vex able to understand the joke that I read into this? I had to actually explain to Caleb what the joke was
Shut up.
beyond the whole they all start with C.
I don't think I get the joke either.
Okay, what are the colors you listed?
Carmine's a red. I'm not sure about Cambridge. Obvious is a location. Celadon's kind of a hideous green. Chartreuse is a yellow-green. And Cerise is also kind of greenish.
Oh, well, Sirius I picked is more of like the pink shade, but Cambridge is blue.
Oh, that would make sense.
I'm just trying to see, can anyone in this VC recognize we have...
Oh, red, green, blue? Red, blue, and green?
Red, blue, green, yellow, pink.
Red, blue, green.
I don't know.
Teletubbies? I don't know.
No, but you're actually getting close.
Boobas?
Power Rangers?
Yes.
Ah.
Mhm.
Y'all.
Ah.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
God, I'm
I
old.
made the most
I was going to say
abstract
Common Riders
reference.
next.
I was trying to make
Good
the most
choice.
abstract
You let
reference.
the Power Rangers die?
Yes.
That's okay. There'll be new Rangers next
There
season.
always is.
I was-
Always are.
I
I
was
felt so bad
genuinely
for
about
not
to
getting
say
the feed.
like Super Sentai next.
I felt
I
so
am
bad
very-
because I'm
here.
such a Sentai nerd. I love it, and I didn't get it.
It's because I
I
use
feel so bad.
incredibly abstract shades for all the colors. That was literally it. Basically, I was trying to think like, okay, what colors could I, like, what shades could I pick that won't make it immediately obvious? And then I realized I could literally list a shade where all of them start with C. And I'm like, well, now I just have to do it because that's just funny.
Hey,
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, Cerise means cherry.
Yeah, so, in this story, I killed the Power Rangers.
Ah,
I made it in a super abstract way where all the officers they're trying to find, all of their names are abstract shades of red, blue, green, yellow, and pink.
yeah. I think I stepped away to get food at that point, so I might have missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, we found the first body, which is Cerise. So we found the Pink Ranger who is dead. And because we're progressive like that, the Pink Ranger was a guy.
Tell you, I mean, you're talking to a lich whose primary color is pink.
Exactly. Let guys
Hey.
wear pink. Alright.
I mean,
Nothing's
there was a
stopping
point in
you.
history
Put it
where
on.
men exclusively wore pink and women
Yeah.
wore blue.
Pink
Wait,
was a
really?
very masculine color, and
Yes.
blue was feminine. Back in the
Yeah.
day, it's just
Same
I
thing with
think
high
it was-
heels.
Yeah, I think it was the fashion industry that decided to change it at some point, if I'm remembering correctly.
That's so cowardly of them. Let anyone wear whatever colors they want.
As long as it looks good.
yeah.
All right, let us continue now that we've split off from that tangent.
Hey.
She listed, as morbid as the situation was, I couldn't help but blink. Are those code names? The specialist head fell as a heavy breath left her nostrils.
They are not. They actually requested to have been put on Bragi.
Yes.
What was that?
What was
They
what?
actually requested to have been put on this mission together.
I never said that I was perfect at structuring a sentence. We've been over this many times before.
Mother of pearl.
Grim.
Okay.
Trust me,
Writing
trust
is
me. I know your
literally
feelings
your
on this next.
job.
My
poke
job
fun of
isn't
him.
grammar, it's putting the words on the page.
What do you mean your job isn't grammar? You're the writer.
I'm not the editor.
Okay.
As a writer, same.
And publisher, you
They are
motherfucker.
not. They actually requested to have been put on this mission together. Finding it amusing that all of their names started with C.
Let's make sure they leave this mission. I took in a breath to focus myself. Those gashes look like they were made by claws. From the size of them, they're likely from an Ursa or a Grim of similar size. Do soldiers at their level have their aura unlocked?
Anyone that enters boot camp has their aura unlocked on the first day. Only officers and those intending to transfer to being huntsmen get advanced training, but aura is too much of a boon to not ensure every soldier has it.
So, the Grim got into the facility somehow, got in close, and either was powerful enough to overwhelm Cerise's aura or stayed close long enough that it broke his aura. I thought aloud. Best case scenario, he was isolated and the electrical issues prevented him from opening the door, so he got backed into a corner with no escape.
Worst case scenario.
Winter and I met each other's gazes as she spoke with a heavy tone.
The Grim was able to fight off their entire team, and Cerise was the first to fall.
Let's hope it was the former. At my prayer, the specialist stood and the two of us left the body where it lay, going through the door and deeper into the facility. It was more the same as before, white hallways with barely working lights. The only indicators that we were still going in the right direction were the gouges and dents from claws and bullets. How would a Grim be able to get into a place like this? I decided to fill the space as we hunted across the halls.
None that would have the raw strength to break inside should be able to fit inside.
The Elder Schnee announced.
Basic Grim, even Ursa, wouldn't be able to break through the bunker door even if they somehow knew it was there. And the camouflage shield wouldn't expose the door if any Grim were within 100 meters unless an emergency override occurred. Any Elder Grim native to Atlas would end up too large to fit inside the halls. So it shouldn't be possible for a Grim to have broken in.
Does the bunker door shut on its own? I asked.
No. Why?
I was wondering if there was a way for the Grim to follow after the soldiers, but if it wasn't automatic, then it wouldn't make sense for why the door was closed when we arrived.
A Grim wouldn't close a door after themselves.
Winter nodded understanding as we turned down another hallway, and immediately came across blood splattering the walls. Two bodies were in the hall, both in the same uniform as Cerise. One was male, the other female. Winter and I each ran up to a body and investigated.
This is Celadon. Her throat's been gouged out.
She announced over the dead body. Short truce, I informed. His chest is caved in.
These bodies are about 12 hours old.
The specialist noticed. Which means?
We lost communication with them approximately 13 hours ago.
At the explanation, I lifted my head to meet Winter's stern gaze. They were ambushed by something. They cut their communications first so they couldn't call for help.
The attacker was intelligent.
We stood up in unison. Where are we in the facility? Are we close to anywhere important? I demanded. She turned her head down the hallway and stood still in thought for several moments. Then crystal blue eyes widened.
We're close to a testing site.
The Elder Schnee realized before darting down the hallway, myself easily keeping pace. Testing what? I pushed as I held up my right hand, calling Excalibur into it.
I don't know. All I was given in preparation for this mission was a map of the facility.
She explained, which brought me to grit my teeth. Great, so we have no idea what could be waiting for us. At least I can adapt pretty easily. How far are we to... Her turns to the right sharply to face a broken door and rushed inside. I spun on a dime and followed her, both of us taking a few steps inside before stopping. You know, a little bit of warning would be... I cut myself off as both of us stared at the sight before us. Inside what I figured was the testing room, a fourth soldier was dead on the ground, his torso ripped apart as he laid in a pool of his own blood. The room itself was the same as the hallways, stark white walls, floor, and ceiling, with most of the overhead lights turned off. Two of them remained on, one shining down in the center of the room, and the other flickering in the far right corner. Several upturned tables were flung against the walls, broken glass littering the floor alongside pieces of metal. In the center of the room, illuminated by the light and standing over the corpse in the room, was a Grim. It was on all fours, canine in nature and looking quite similar to a Beowulf if one didn't look too closely. Only, it was missing most of the bone that decorated most Beowulfs, leaving only black inky flesh. The only bone I could see was over the nose and eyes of the beast, a solid mass that covered its eyes, and spinal protrusions that only stuck out from the top of its hunched back. A significant amount of blood covered its body, which was no surprise. It turns to us as soon as we stormed into the room, and growled. Thankfully, I was already prepared. "You still gonna obey that non-interference order?" I asked as I readied my swords.
Do you think you cannot handle a single Grim?
She retorted. "Just thought I'd ask," shrugged out from me. The Grim prowled forward, keeping to slow steps. Weird, but whatever. What I instead chose to focus on was that the Grim was neither agitated nor unreasonably bloodthirsty. This was my first Grim encounter after the initiation in the Emerald Forest, so I was trying to find any signs of the Fury from then. Everyone I had asked confirmed that the behavior of the Grim for the initiation was supremely unnatural, so I had been trying to figure out why. The Grim encroached until it was a decent distance away from the body, but still a fair distance from us, before stopping. It instead switched to creeping to the side, its head aimed directly at me. My head tilted. I'm not the only one tripped out by this, right?
It is behaving oddly for what looks to be a newborn Grim by the lack of bone.
Winter corroborated. I could hear the frown in her tone, which brought me to frown as well while I stepped forward. If that's the case, tell me what you can about this species. I haven't read about it yet. I don't know what to watch out for.
I am also unfamiliar with this species of Grim.
My eyes flicked to the specialist for a moment before returning to the Grim. What a wonderful shade of red these flags are, I sighed before adjusting my grip on my swords. Alright, let's go, Fido. Launching myself, I was in front of the Grim almost immediately, the beast squealing before leaning back and raising its right arm to smack me. My left blade lifted to block, the flames causing the monster's arm to burn. The second squeal left its throat, the Grim's mouth opening so wide that it ripped seams down the sides of its throat. I watched the flesh rip open in real time, the strands tearing as its mouth spread wider, and more importantly, as teeth began to grow rapidly along the new edges. My eyes widened, and I immediately swung Excalibur, cutting a deep gash across its chest. The beast threw out its left arm and successfully smacked me, knocking me back. I backflipped to correct myself, landing in a crouch about 10 feet back. Rapid growth like that was never a good sign. It had too many implications, and being able to control its growth would be incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, though, as its screams of agony continued, Excalibur was just as effective against the Grim as it was the ones in the Emerald Forest. I stood up, keeping a careful watch of the Grim as it clutched at its chest while black mist rippled out from the wound.
Is
Winter's voice sounded halfway between stunned and horrified.
Is that blood?
Hearing such a visceral reaction to something she definitely didn't seem perturbed by earlier brought me to look her way. Her eyes, wide and with contracted pupils, were on me, or more specifically, my swords. Confused, I looked down until I saw the reason why she was so horrified. Excalibur had a streak of blood coating its edge, slowly trailing down to drip on the floor. I lifted the blade slowly to make sure we weren't collectively hallucinating, and saw the fluid adjust to accommodate the change in gravity. Our gazes shot straight to the Grim, and I was certain the white-haired woman was looking as closely as I was at the gash in its chest. Behind the mist, which I now realized was significantly thinner than the dense smoke that came out of other Grim, I could see blood spilling out. Oh shit. The Grim hissed and spat as it hunched over itself, and it was only then that I realized that it was standing on its hind legs without issue. A roar erupted from its throat. Both Winter and I watched as its inky skin sewed itself shut, black threads of flesh connecting in the wounds to pull it closed. My eyes widened at the reaction for only a moment before the flaming sword in my hand disappeared in light. Taking a step forward, I thrust out my now empty hand. Fire magic! Inferno! Best counter to abilities like that was to burn it and prevent it from being able to grow, so that was exactly what I went for. A torrent of orange flame burst out from my arm straight for the Grim, and it had neither enough time nor room to evade, quickly being swallowed up by the heat. Its screams increased in volume, and I saw its form move in the fire. It lunged for me from the blaze, screeching an angry cry with its claws in front of it and its mouth wide to bite down on me. It was too slow, as I was easily able to swipe Excalibur again. The blade may not be the guaranteed kill on this one like it was normal Grim, but it clearly still feels some of the purifying effects. I struck the beast across its shoulder and front, which also had the benefit of throwing it to the ground to my left. It tumbled, writhing in pain from the cut. I didn't let it recover, rushing forward to slam my boot against its head. It took the hit painfully, its head bouncing against the floor, and was disoriented from it enough that I couldn't bring its arms up to protect itself from my next move. Flipping the golden blade into a reverse grip, I stabbed downward through the center of its chest, going straight through until I felt it pierce through the ground. Another howl attempted to rise from its throat, but I was already in motion to continue, my left palm slapping against its face and bashing the back of its skull into the floor. Fire magic. White haze. The fire that left my hand this time was not orange, but instead a searing white, burning down through the bone covering its face with ease. Within moments, I had burned a hole through its head and turned the ground beneath it black. The Grim's body fell limp, and after a few moments of waiting, I trusted the lack of reaction enough to stand, though I kept the blade pinning it to the ground. I heard Winter's heels click along the floor as she came up to my right side. In the corner of my vision, I saw her staring at its body. I am not feeling like moving until I see that thing start to dissipate, I announced, receiving an approving nod from my current partner. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait long, as it began to fade starting from where the purifying blade was stabbed through it. Neither of us were prepared for it to reveal a white Atlas military uniform underneath.
What?
Winter's voice shook slightly, as the black continued to dissipate and reveal the blood-soaked name tag of the person who had been the Grim, Cambridge. Both of us stood in shock as the beast faded to completely expose the dead soldier, and to our further horror, there was a massive pit in the center of his sternum, driving deep toward his heart, with some white web-like substance spreading from it. Even worse, from what we could see of his exposed skin, it was heavily warped and distorted, tearing in places as though he had been rearranged from the inside out. What the hell? I breathed as we stared down at the body. We likely would have helplessly stared at it all day if we had not been interrupted by a massive earthquake. It shook the floor, walls, and made the overhead lights swing about violently. Both of the bodies in the room vibrated along the ground as Vinter and I were forced to kneel down to keep from outright falling over. What the hell?
Damn it!
Winter seems to have been knocked out of her shock from the...
With all the damage the facility has sustained, it won't survive a shift of this magnitude. Black or blue, get us out of here as quickly as you can.
Without hesitation, I jumped at Winter, grabbing onto her tightly. Transport magic, recollection. With a pulse of magic, we appeared next to the entrance of the bunker.
It's going to collapse beneath us, father!
Realizing my error as soon as I was warned of it, I allowed a second burst to carry us 3 miles over, to the initial location I landed at. Even from so far away, we could still hear the rumble of the quaking. In fact, we could still feel the quaking, though it was much softer. What kind of super quakes does Remnant have? I balked.
It's a tremor from the shifting mountains.
Winter monotoned, seemingly returns to being out of sorts from what we witnessed in the bunker. The what? Crystal blue eyes looked up at me, a note of confusion in them.
Atlas's shifting mountains.
She repeated.
People who haven't been to Atlas certainly think we're exaggerating, but we semi-regularly experience earthquakes originating from a mountain range we've dubbed the Shifting Mountains, due to how the earthquakes are so potent that the mountains will visibly shift.
And one happened when we were underground. At my exclamation, she actually turned slightly sheepish.
Our scientists admittedly have yet to discover any means of tracking the tremors that would allow us to anticipate them. However, Us Atlesians have enough experience, so to speak, with them that it feels very out of place for one to have occurred just now.
After a moment of staring at her, I ended up choosing to hang my head and sigh. Whatever. So, the bunker is almost certainly collapsed, I recalled. The specialist turned somber once more.
Yes, and it will be close to impossible to collect the bodies of those operatives because of it.
Well then, I spoke before sucking a breath, sparing a glance in the direction of the bunker had been in. We've got one hell of a reports to give to Ironwood now. Winter's blue eyes gained a steely edge, and she joined me in looking at where the grim hybrid had been.
Yes, we do.
And that is Chapter 8, Trial of the Tin Man of Fame.
Yoo-hoo!
We have a Baka!
Bombs.
Hi!
Bombs. Bombs.
If I had known you were awake, I would have asked you to be voice Andrew for this.
Well, they don't call him Baka for nothing.
Right.
Yeah. I just love that you perfectly timed it to enter right as we finished.
Giggity.
So I always appreciate you seeing here, Baka. I always appreciate hanging out with you.
You see, I just saw it says, at 1342. My brain went, oh, that's cool. I'm just gonna come join. Sure.
1342.
Oh,
What?
No?
Oh yeah, I didn't read anything above that. I just said, "Ooh, cool, chill."
I'm wondering where you saw 1342 is my question.
That would be 142 where he is.
Oh.
Your last
yeah.
post, you
Ah.
nerd. Military time.
I didn't
Mhm.
realize that he was referring to time. I was thinking like he was looking at like a channel in the server. Like what?
No, you silly goose.
Yeah. But, yeah, from left to right, we already have Caleb's thoughts on this chapter. Comic, especially since you have an awareness of RWBY. What are your thoughts on this chapter?
It's interesting to see it from a different perspective, considering we never really got to see a whole ton of Atlas. And the fact that you're using this as an opportunity to like develop some of the bigger name characters like Winter and Ironwood, who like in the first chunk of RWBY, like Winter was only ever mentioned before we saw her, and then Ironwood, if I recall, he didn't do much until like later on.
Not really, yeah. I think his first like real like event was like in season 2.
Yeah, so just seeing you kind of give these sort of side characters who actually have weight to them, because in the show it's just kind of like, oh yeah, Winter's a bitch, don't worry about her, and Ironwood, he's here.
Yeah.
I am interested to see more of Andrew, just because the more you describe about his powers, the more I'm just sitting here of like, this guy is so powerful. He can solve a lot of problems. The only reason he doesn't is because someone asked him not to.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. That does cause some tension later on, but that definitely will not be now.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides of the equation of the whole, he can do a lot of things, and the whole, no one's really letting him do those things.
Yeah. But other than that, the story is interesting. I do like that you've given Neo more of a personality aside from the like trickster Cheshire Cat archetype.
Yeah. She's just a funky little sociopath.
Funky little sociopath.
Yep. And your thoughts on the Grim hybrid appearing here?
The Grim hybrid was interesting. I'm not in. Was that something that actually did come up in RWBY at some point?
That was in volume 7.
I don't think I got that far then.
Yeah.
It is very horrifying when you think about the implications of it. Well, in the actual series. Now it's done early enough here and enough details are ignored because Andrew and Winter don't have any reason to think that the details are important enough to comment on that
Mhm.
it just slowly built. It's a nice slower start.
I like
Yeah.
building up to it. And Skog is the only one, because I've actually asked her to like look over the chapters I've already done, who knows what it's going to build up to. And it is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's definitely interesting because at some point I kind of just fell off of RWBY, so I don't have like the deepest understanding of like the later episodes. And only recently did I start watching because of Fame. Actually, I started watching some of the later seasons just because I'm like, I'm not gonna go back and watch this from start to finish because
Yeah.
it's just meh at this point. Like the fight scenes are great, some story beats are great, but it's a slog to try and get through OG RWBY.
Yeah. The first 3 volumes, you could like more or less turn your brain off and just enjoy the flashing lights and cool fight
Pretty
scenes.
much.
But after that,
Yeah.
Wait, are you telling me you actually turn your brain on when watching RWBY?
It-
As someone who does a lot of reading and analyzing of stories, I try to keep up when a story is trying to do something because as a writer, I like to look at stuff and see and think, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I'll try incorporating something like that in a story I'm writing."
yeah, exactly. I
But
do
when
the
I
same
try doing
thing.
yeah, when I try doing it with like regular RWBY, it's like, okay, they're at school, but they're not doing anything that a school should do. Um, there's a food fight. Okay, now they're fighting bad guy. What?
Yeah, and it gets really bad towards the end.
Yeah.
Also, I will comfort those who are familiar enough with the late game RWBY. I will not fuck over Ironwood's character like they did in the actual show. I will not just character assassinate him. I'm building up to something that will make perfect sense and be great, and even better, I'm going to let it be morally gray because that's what it should have been from the start. But yeah, so B, your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've told you before, but I'll say it again. I you like write character development, especially like background development as well, like world building.
Mhm.
Like with the half Grim, with the hybrid Grim, it's like just picturing it in your mind as you read it and like seeing it through Andrew's perspective as someone who also has no idea what the hell this thing is, and just just visualizing what you've put down is like I very much enjoy it. Like you have a talent with like describing and like scene with scene placements and everything. I really do enjoy that about your writing.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Also, I also love Andrew. Like you already know, I love Andrew. He is a joyous being to me. I've come to very much love and appreciate this character.
I have designed him to be as like lovable for those who enjoy the more manic side of things. He just has the charisma, has the energy. He just loves to just be like, oh, this is a rule. What if I just ate it and ignored it?
I really do enjoy him. He's just like he's one of those characters where it's like you know he could take care of himself, but you really want to end up protecting him.
I will also mention, since I brought it up, because this is like a very small detail. So the like initial instruction, like literally foundation of all of this, chapter was Ironwood and the others wanted to get a feel for Andrew's actual speed and how like fast he can move, and he just proceeded to immediately throw that rule out the window. Nearly immediately throw the rule out the window.
That's our Andrew.
Granted, Winter doesn't realize the whole, directly disobeying orders because she didn't hear the aspect of he's not allowed to teleport. But it's still the premise of he just doesn't fucking care. Which obviously will lead into further consequences down the line, especially and specifically with Ironwood.
Oh.
Random thought, just because, like, looking back at the hybrid, I find it funny that I never got to that part in RWBY, and yet in one of my sci-fi stories I'm writing, I have something incredibly similar.
I mean, the premise of it is just incredibly cool.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, like, that's just how you summarize RWBY for the most part. It's the premise is incredibly cool. The concept of this one arc is incredibly cool. The execution
It's just lacking.
Yeah.
Like, back when Rooster Teeth was doing this, they really didn't try and give a concrete story. They mostly were just, we're gonna make some cool fight scenes, and then we'll insert stuff in between as needed.
Yeah. Excuse to have the fight scenes.
Yep.
Granted, it was still wonderful when it was doing that, but then it was like, what if we just started taking our story seriously randomly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, continuing on. Syphil, since you've been sitting in here, I believe for all of it, if not at least most of it, what have your thoughts been on this chapter?
Boss, haven't been paying attention at all. I've been going back and forth with my mic muted doing shit.
Oh.
All I got was like the transformation, or not the transformation, the hybrid scene. That's the only one I was back long enough to catch all of.
Okay.
Forgive me.
You are absolutely fine. We were happy that you're just here for the vibes. Alright, Skog.
Yes. I don't know. I made comments of it's nice that the hybrid was introduced earlier rather than like at the toward the volume 7 or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, here's this Grim. We're going to immediately reveal horrible things using this Grim. So the characters have very little time to think and wonder what's going on.
I'd also like to mention that in OG RWBY, there generally was no follow-up to the Grim hybrid. Or at least, there hasn't been for the following 3 seasons. We don't know if there's going to be any follow-up in Volume 10, but so far there's been no hint of anything regarding the concept of Grim infecting people and turning them into Grim.
Spoilers.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's nothing to worry about. We don't gotta worry about following this plot thread.
Yep, it's just typical RWBY writing. But Vex, finish us off. What are your thoughts on this chapter outside of being German French woman?
It made me work so hard and like made my eyes straight. It was so mean. I'm kind of curious to see where the characters kind of develop from here. I feel like the elder Schnee is obviously a good soldier, and not as much of an asshole as her younger sister. Andrew's been developing beautifully. I mean, a bit of a man whore, but it is what it is.
I mean,
So a true New York man.
Fuckboy, if you will.
You know what? Actually, he really does kind of give that energy off a little bit. He's a little bit of a fuckboy.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's not the relationship he has with Neo. I firmly emphasize they just get sibling energy. But
Yeah, sibling energy.
Yeah, that weird kind of
You know,
anime.
Step
I
bro.
have a few siblings. I don't think I've ever shared a bed with either of them.
Yeah.
y'all just
Yeah.
haven't cuddled in bed with a sibling?
What do you mean cuddle my sibling? No.
No.
I've done that with
What?
my family members.
You're weird.
How?
From what I know, as someone who's like an
I can
only
hear Sweet
child,
Home Alabama right now.
as someone who's an only child, the only reference I have to like people with siblings is them trying to like just beat the shit out of each other every
Yeah.
single time they
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah, that's how I understand it.
Uh-huh. There
I
is no
mean-
affection to be had. Only mutual hatred.
the
Unless
thing
they
is-
have a combined enemy that they're like,
Ye-
yes, we'll both hate
yes.
them together.
And then we'll go back to hating each other.
Yeah.
Never had
Nobody
that
can bully
dynamic
me
with
for
any of
watching
my
it.
siblings at all.
Well, good for you that you have a healthy relationship with your family.
I don't. That's the concerning problem. I hate 90% of my family. Like,
Maybe
not
you
in
should have
that,
hated
like-
them more when you were younger.
Like, is that like
And you'd be
affectionate
fine
hatred
now.
of like, I won't admit that I love you? It's the like, we generally will refuse to talk or interact with each other. If you go to one of our family gatherings, the only people who aren't drunk are the people who have to drive.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
We sincerely hate each other. There is one person in my family that I don't hate, and that is my mom. You know, I'm genuinely astounded. Like, how have none of you ever seen like a genuine just like it's too exhausting, just pretends to fight each other all the time. Let's just like watch a TV show and just pass out.
Nah.
I mean, there's that, but
Mm.
like we don't cuddle. That's the thing.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
like
But it's nice to have physical affection.
Yeah, I used
Don't
to
touch
cuddle
me.
I
with
can
my
get
sister.
physical
He's like,
affection
"The
from
fuck
people
touch me."
other than my siblings.
Yeah,
If I want
like,
physical affection, I'll just get someone who wants to fuck me. There's a list of that. That's
uh,
I'm just surprised. I'm gonna have to sit on this for a minute and realize
you're gonna be
it's
stupid
not-
on it. You're a weirdo.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought like Neo and Andrew wanted to bone. I'm glad that it was not just me, because that's what I thought when I read this a long ass time ago.
Mm.
no.
yeah, I mean, it's not
Does
too
is Grim
weird.
over like, no, they
confused.
didn't want to vote at all. They just simply.
I mean, I know
Everybody
the
is-
community's gonna think they do, but they're just friends.
And there's plenty of friends with benefits. It's okay.
Bragi's having an existential crisis right now.
I mean, there's someone that's actively trying to get into a friends with benefits situation with him, but they haven't been introduced yet. He's gonna reject it.
What?
Just haven't met you yet.
Yeah, I've told Skog about them, the nurse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she wants to be friends with benefits. He's just saying no.
A man horse saying
I
no.
look forward to getting to the nurse.
Yeah, the nurse is gonna be quite a time. But okay, beyond the whole Andrew is a man whore. Vex, continue.
Beyond the existential crisis.
I mean, what's more to be said? I'm very interested to see what, like what they define, like what Ironwood has to say about the, I guess, infection of the Grim, right? Like whatever it is that's causing that transformation and such.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think I can
Oh, wait.
gently nudge Skog into realize what was going on by emphasizing the bit that they mentioned of the communications to that bunker were cut an hour before everyone started dying.
Yeah.
I think Skog can tell who specifically did that.
It's me.
Yes, it was Syphils.
Zool.
I can think of at least 2 options, potentially 3, that would have the skills and ability to do so.
Okay, Scott, could you DM them to me? Because I'm curious. Because there's like one that
Um,
should be the most
okay.
obvious, and then there's others that I didn't even think about.
One sec. Let me.
But,
Where's our DMs here?
As Skunk does that. So the next chapter we will have is titled Scarlet Shift Sonata, and it is definitely one of
Ooh.
both the more generally fun chapters, but also the much more narration-heavy chapters because it is a giant fight scene. And we will find the return of Missy if we can get the timing right for it as our lovable Kiwi. Because Velvet is returning, and as Skog is excited about, same with Coco.
I'm sorry, what was that? I was too busy typing.
Velvet and Coco are returning in the next chapter.
Hell yeah, lesbian time.
But yeah, so we're going to see a much greater exploration of Velvet's character than was in the actual original show. Because that's not a running theme or anything. But also, because it's totally not a running theme, I'm going to explore some topics that the show also just neglected to actually delve into properly, like, you know, faunus racism and people being ostracized and bullied, and how people respectively responds to being ostracized and bullied. And there's even an ethical discussion of what even is the best response to being harassed and, you know, being the target of racism.
They get really uncomfortable if you start flirting back. I mean, what?
I mean, I can't deny that it scares me a bit, but it was so weird. I've seen so many people say like, "Oh yeah, Cardin bullies the fuck out of Velvet," and then the fanfiction is Cardin wants to fuck Velvet.
Okay, Grim, I just sent the message. So those are the 3 thoughts that I have. And I feel like any of those people could reasonably disable the security and communications, and I wouldn't bat an eye at it.
The second option you picked was the only option I thought of.
Really?
Yes. That's the guy who specifically has a problem with Atlas.
Yeah, but like, option 3 should also have the insider knowledge of how the security system works and be able to disable it.
Alright, so I can give
Depending
this rundown at
The
least.
specifics of...
The physical rundown of how that occurred was that there was someone who infiltrated the facility, infected someone with the Grim, and then chose to leave while the infection activated. That is like the physical taking place of the event.
Don't the Grim hybrids require a, without giving spoilers, specific trait from their hosts?
I'm gonna be honest, I think they just did that because they wanted to hype something up that they never got around to doing. I don't think it has any actual bearing. And if in anything, I can see that only happening just because Salem specifically has a grudge against them. But also, I want to mention, I have someone on my side, you little shits. Comic. Please tell them what you told me.
Yeah, growing up, I shared a room with my sister. We kind of chilled and vibed, and we would like just lay in bed and read books together and shit. So it's not that weird to me that
That's different from cuddling your sibling.
Like, would you spoon your sister?
Spooning and cuddling are 2 very different things.
In this chapter,
I'm just here with my
Andrew
banjo playing
and
Sweet Home
Neo
Alabama.
were spooning.
They were spooning.
They were spooning, but also both had been drunk when going to bed. I specifically say Andrew didn't even remember putting on the mask.
Sweet home Alabama.
I go across
I
the
have
street,
no
you can go
dog.
across the hall.
Andrew
I am
continued the spooning after waking up and being sober.
Like I said, I'm an only child. I have no dog in this fight.
I'm just gonna kindly ask to keep the Southern family kind of jokes like that to a minimum, since I got a lot of those growing up because I'm from Texas.
No,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
It's
that'll
not
do.
the same. Texas is not
Did
the same
not
as
even
Alabama.
cross my mind until you brought it up.
No, it's
You,
just
congratulations, you just told me to not think of a red balloon.
no, because someone started singing "Sweet Home Alabama," and I know why they started singing that.
I also know who it was because it's just the running bit between the Cavi family.
Yeah, so like it's like I take no offense to it. Honestly, it's just
It's
I
a
got
weird thing, yeah.
it's weird, but I also got so many because this happened a lot in like an old Warframe clan I used to be in. As soon as I said like, yeah, I'm from Texas, like for months people just kept making those jokes at me, and I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, that'll do it. But for further of me just desperately trying to defend myself, Skog is actually aware of this detail, even if I think she might have genuinely forgotten. Andrew's body temperature is like genuinely significantly hotter than a normal person's, and it's like, would you not want to cuddle up to like basically a heated pillow?
As someone who runs hot, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
I got that Latino heat.
I
man.
like, don't.
Okay,
I'm
assuming
like,
you don't run
touch
hot.
me.
Assuming you don't run hot.
It depends on the season, and it depends on what temperature the AC in the room is set to.
Okay, I'm just saying, like that's like the excuse. Andrew's body is just physically warmer than a normal person's. I'm still not just clinging on to things as I can.
No, so you just no, sorry, I'm just not autistic coded enough where that is something I want. I want it ice cold. I want to feel the bite in my bones. I don't want to feel the warmth.
You wish to
As
feel your
someone
soul
who's-
escaping your body.
Yeah, as
Oh,
someone
that's
who,
that was already gone. What are you talking about, baby
Right.
girl?
Comic?
yeah, as someone who does run hot, I do tend to just sleep in the coldest temperatures I possibly can. Like, I will have a fan blazing when it's not like negative fuck you outside. I'll have an AC going, and then I'll just be under like a few blankets to just kind of reach a neutral temperature.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm the sort of person who'll have if it's below 0, windows open and AC's on.
Jesus.
Even like I can't do that here because of the building we're in. If it's like negative fuck you, because it can drop to like negative 60 on a bad winter. Our pipes will fucking freeze if I do that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fair.
that's fair.
Yeah. So next chapter we'll also have a good bit of world building, since I include that in every chapter, but I will mention that there is actually a bit of foreshadowing in this chapter that will be, I guess, expanded upon in a very sideways manner in the next chapter. In the sense of, there are going to be another topic in relation to something that was introduced this chapter that do actually coincide with each other, even if it's not directly mentioned. Yeah, for the fun fact I wanted to include, this chapter foreshadowed season 8.
Neat.
Yeah. And we are quickly approaching the point where Caleb is no longer aware of what's going on before it happens.
Hey.
We will soon fast
Hey,
approach the point
hey.
where I also ask him what his thoughts are on the individual chapters.
Also, a.
Damn you and your future sight bullshit.
To be fair, though, it has been a while since I've read Fame, so my goldfish ass brain has forgotten a lot of it until we read it. So
So
yeah,
unreliable future sight bullshit.
damn right.
Well, I mean, I know Kev's definitely gonna have a time with the next chapter because it's the one he got incredibly pedantic on.
Oh, that's right. This is the fight chapter. Yeah, I got really pedantic on this.
Yeah. Affectionately, of course. I enjoyed every moment of him being pedantic.
Hey.
But yeah, it's just a
Bragi.
giant fight scene.
Yeah.
This
Hey,
is the kind
Bragi.
of yeah.
If you're down for it later and you're not busy, you wanna try some multiplayer Slay the Spire?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
I basically don't have any plans for the rest of the day. Skog is gonna get introduced to like some D&D stuff, but outside of that, literally I have nothing to do. I am absolutely here
Hell yeah.
for getting some multiplayer Slay the Spire.
I'm fucking down. Yeah, most of today I'm not doing anything either. Like later in the evening, I'm probably gonna read more of the Daggerheart rulebook since I'm thinking of running that after I finish Curse of Strahd.
Okay.
Neat.
But yeah.
Yeah, I will also mention, so that we can keep our running theme of, for all of the read-alongs, someone is aware of what's going on. I will mention for all of you here, I am also preparing scripts and trying to get shit figured out for a separate story for read-alongs.
Ooh.
And it will be the one I have been getting obsessed with. It's the main thing that's getting me tripped up is the fact that it is going to be very, very difficult for people to voice the main character because A, they don't speak that much, and B, the reason they don't speak that much is because they have a speech impediment.
What kind of speech impediment?
It is physically difficult for them to produce sounds with their throat, so they can only like really string together like 2 syllables at a time.
I think I've done a character like that before.
Sweet. So yeah, so that all of you are aware, so you can, if you happen to be interested in doing so, you can opt out. It is a fairy tale and Bleach crossover I am also writing that heavily focuses on grief. Where there's not really many Bleach elements, unfortunately. It basically just follows the character of Zangetsu. And the premise of the story is that during a particular fight in Bleach where Ichigo canonically dies, I've decided to put 2 little twists on it. The first being, what if Ichigo just hard died there and did not come back from the dead, and Zangetsu just kind of had to live with that? And second, Zangetsu gets transported into the world of Fairy Tail.
Huh. That's definitely an interesting take. I like it.
And B is aware of a deliciously angsty and cruel choice I have added for the story. Where she has mentioned, like, she's able to catch the signs that I've been including in nearly every chapter of the big twist. And on chapter 18, well, no, in chapter 17, it was properly stated of what the big twist is. Obviously, I'm not going to say it now because it's 17 chapters in. But yeah, there's a very big deal going on with the story. And as I'm working on the scripts, I'm eager to have us read through the story, trying to figure, like, do we make it so that we just read Fame once a month and switch to, the other story and keep the every 2 weeks? Or do we decide to start doing it so that it's alternating? We have a read along every Saturday and we just choose to alternate which story we're reading at any given time.
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Fame.
Sweet. And the rest is?
I'm down for whatever.
Vex?
As long as we're having fun,
Well, I mean, I know
one
that a
script
lot
is
of
as good
us
as another.
have busy schedules, so. like, I know obviously not everyone's going to be available every single Saturday, so that's why I was like, I initially did the alternating Saturdays so that people would have enough time to be like, okay, we can like arrange for this to happen. You know, like people who work on Saturdays could call out appropriately if they needed to. But if everyone is cool for every Saturday, then hell yeah. I also mentioned since it's going to be the last stream of this week, I'm not going to be streaming at all next week because I will be in Colorado.
Ah, shit, dude.
Yep. My brother asked me to visit him for a week, and I initially was like, with what money? And then he said, what if I paid for both the plane ticket and the hotel for a week? And I'm like, well, if you're gonna do that,
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
yeah.
Yep. Nice.
So I went like clothes shopping yesterday so I can get like winter boots and jackets because I live in a fucking desert and I've never needed those things.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're also a lizard, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a lizard. My house is currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just chilling. I'm just
Yeah, I
having
think
a,
it's-
Terrible.
I'm just
I
having
think
a
it's
good
still-
time.
It
Wow.
was in the 50s here for the last couple days, but then it rained, so I think it's like 30 something outside.
I think I would freeze to death.
God, I would love
don't
that weather.
don't come to Minnesota when it's like the dead of winter, because you will experience like negative 60 degrees on a bad day.
I think I'd actually unironically fucking hibernate. I think I would actually be the first human to properly hibernate if I was exposed to such temperatures for a long period of time. You would need to fill me up with a shit ton of coffee and, you know, like spaghetti before I, you know, pass out. Enough to last me 3 months. And I see an ad is about to hit, but it's not giving me the option to snooze. Alright, I have the option to snooze it now. But since there is D&D shenanigans and then Slay the Spire shenanigans to get to, let us get a raid
Yeah.
going. And let us do the raid message. And let's do read along raid.
Run, chat. Save yourselves.
Yeah, they've already been through the worst of it. They can survive the
Away.
next bit. Also, if I remember correctly, we sadly do not have any angry German girls in the next chapter.
I'm free.
No.
God, I love the dichotomy.
Can you add one?
No.
But I thought you had fun with it, Vex.
I did. It was a lot of fun. I'm just griping to gripe. You know, it's the purview of the elderly. So.
I know exactly who we're going to raid into, and I think some of you might find this particular individual a bit familiar. We are going to raid into Crimson Cleric.
Crim.
Yeah,
Yeah, Crim definitely could deserve some of it.
yeah, I'm seeing that it's the unkept medical donathon, so I'm like, nah, we're getting this fucker all the attention. All the
Yeah.
spotlight. All the eyes. Medical bills are a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for popping in here and being the lovely voice actors who are enjoying their time here, even if I cause undue and suffering and whatnot to most of you.
Voice acting is the thing I like doing.
Yeah, it's slowly growing on me as well, even though I still think that my voice isn't suited to voice acting.
It's all about training. Like, it is a skill that you can hone and become better at.
You hear that, all of you in chat? You could practice and get good at it, doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly. A
But
talent is a pursued interest.
As always, thank you all everyone for stopping by my campfire. I well and truly do appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you all had a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye.
Bye.
Farewell.
Goodbye, farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.